What's up, my brothers from another mother? It's your pops from another block. You guys send me some very interesting articles, and today I'm going to be going over two separate incidents. One is with a female medical student, one with a male medical student. But before we get started, two things. One, I want to thank those of you that have become patrons to help support my work. If you want access to the premium content or just want to support my work, link to Patreon is below. And number two, I'm also going to include the link to my email list. That way I can communicate if I've got something important to send out to you guys. Of course, for my regular subscribers or anybody new that wants to get on it, the link is down below. Let me minimize these screens and we'll hop right into it. If you guys have anything interesting to send me that you'd like me to go over or take a look at for potential video, by all means, you know how to find me on social. Links are at the end of the video. On my left here, we've got from thedailymail.co.uk an article about a female medical student from Oxford who was spared jail time for stabbing her lover. She was 24 at the time, had a history of violence and drug use. Now, the judge didn't want her to wreck her future. So very quickly, let's go take a look through this. Her name is Lavina Woodward. She's 24. Comes from a bit of a exceptional class, I would say. You know, her mom lives in Italy, a few miles from Lake Como. Her father in Oxford, also went to Oxford, is a senior oil company executive. So she comes from, let's say, a little bit of privilege. Now, this woman met this guy, I guess, in university, and they had a little bit of a issue together. She's got somewhat of a history of drug, alcohol abuse, and they had a spat. Over here, it's highlighted. So Woodward had met this Cambridge graduate on a dating site. During a drink and drug-fueled row last September, she punched him, swiped at him with a bread knife, stabbed him in the leg, hurled a laptop at him, followed by a glass and then a jam jar. So, you know, needless to say, she had a little bit of a spaz. You know, women aren't often portrayed for having these sorts of outbursts. But if you look at the stats, it's as frequent as it is for men. You just don't hear about it as much because, you know, we don't expect, you know, I guess princesses like this to behave like that. Anyway, judge describes it obviously as pretty awful. Let's continue to go down. Actually, let's go about it this way. I'm just going to type in, there it is, cocaine. Here we go. She'd proved time she was conquering her cocaine habit. So let's see how many times this appears in the article. Here we go. Made violent threats against him. So another male student reported Woodward to the police after she made violent threats against him when he tried to help her overcome her cocaine problem. This is not somebody that has had a one-off issue with her drug habits. She consumed an obscene amount of cocaine, a former college friend said. She insisted she didn't have a problem and that it was just recreational. Let's have a look at her. I don't know about you guys. I don't have a lot of experience with cocaine, but that does not look like someone to me that uses coke on a recreational basis. It looks like she's got a pretty good supply or access to a supply anyway. But anyway, so the judge let her off. He didn't want to ruin her medical career as a student. She obviously came from a very nice family, wanted to allow her to continue. She was gone to another school. What I'll do is in the description, I'll link this video so you can have, or sorry, the link to the article so you can have a read through it if you want to read it. But basically, you know, the judge let her off, you know, with a slight slap on the wrist. She got some bad media exposure, had to go to another school after stabbing and throwing things at her boyfriend, who it sounds like was just trying to help her through this condition. Anyway, let's swing over to the right side of the screen here. And we've got another article, also from dailymail.co.uk. And this happened on the island of Jersey. I believe it's an island in the English Channel. Junior doctor's career is in ruins after he indecently assaulted his Tinder date by grabbing and bruising her breast during consensual sex. So, you know, bullet points there. Pair met on Tinder before consensual sex after the second date. During the sex, the doctor grabbed the woman's breast, causing bruising. She went to police and he was put on trial for indecent assault. So in this instance, in this story, they have consensual sex and he's charged with assault for touching her breasts. It says over here, As we go through it, Philip is 37. He was taken to court for repeatedly grabbing the woman's breasts and pulling her hair while the couple had intercourse after meeting on the dating app Tinder. Despite having consensual sex, woman told him she did not want her breast touched and accused him of using excessive force. Let's scroll down here. So here's what happened. They met, they had a date, they met and had a second date and went for a walk down the beach. He had a surprise dinner for her by a restaurant. They were affectionate and kissing and talked about a future relationship. This is after his second date, which is unusual, but you know, people do this. She had said that they agreed to stop using Tinder and to date exclusively. So I guess at this point, they're in an exclusive relationship on the second date. That's something for another video that we can talk about. But Mishla continued. Later that evening, they went to her flat where they engaged in intercourse. So this is obviously consensual. They're in a relationship at this time. And during intercourse, he touched her boobs, you know, which she says was, you know, forcible and she was in pain. You know, she wanted to continue intercourse, but didn't want her boobs to be touched. Like, you know, that's kind of par for the course when you're engaging in sexual activity. You know, you do tend to touch each other in a sexual fashion. Anyway, she goes on to say that, you know, he touched her. She cried out in pain and told him that he had been rough with her. Very shaken, noticed red marks on her breasts, which developed into what she called significant bruising. Told the court he agreed to encounter took place and insisted all acts were consensual. Now, here's what happened that was interesting. There's always two sides to the story, and usually the truth lies somewhere within the middle. Here it says, by her account, she later specifically withdrew consent for her breast being touched, and even though she consented otherwise to continue. So it's okay to have sex with me, but don't touch my boobs. I don't know. I've never had this happen before. I don't know. Have you guys? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your view or opinion on that. But you really can't have one with the other. You know, I suppose if she's withdrawn consent, but how bizarre is that it's okay to have sexual intercourse but not touch her breasts? Let's go down here. Now, they had a little bit of a conflict after that. She showed him the bruise and he responded that he had had rougher sex than that. She did not want him to leave and did not want to believe what had happened. She wanted him to stay and discuss it. His demeanor then changed. He had tears in his eyes and he needed to go and think about what he had done to her. I suppose it's what she had said. He then stormed out the door and she was completely and utter shock, texted him, imploring him to return. She wanted him to come back to give an explanation, and she just cannot equate his behavior in the bedroom with his previous charming behavior. Oh boy. She maintained during cross-examination she had told him to stop grabbing her breasts. On leaving the bathroom, he confirmed she was sore, but he thought that he meant her vagina was sore. He also denied she had told him not to do something or stop doing something. He gave evidence to the trial that she had been a willing participant and he had no indication that she was not enjoying it. He claimed he had stroked and caressed her hair, had not pulled it. It says here, some aspects of her evidence might be thought to be illogical, specifically why she would continue to consent in sexual intercourse with a man that had hurt her, and why she would plead for him to return to the flat. You know, that's an interesting point. It's valid, right? Now, here's what I don't quite understand. You know, she wanted him to return after he left. You know, she accused him of hurting her, bruising her, and wanted him to return, yet he chose not to, and these are the charges that are then filed afterwards. So, you know, there's a fairly stark difference between the way these two stories play out. You know, they're different altogether completely, but the outcome through the judicial system is completely different. You know, on one hand, on the left-hand side here, we've got a woman that's got drug abuse and a history of violence, getting let off so that she can be spared her medical career. And what she did was stab a guy, swipe at him, punch him, throw a laptop at him, a jam jar, and glass. This guy over here has sex with a woman and touches her breasts, to which she claims was assault because she didn't want her breast touched. I wonder if she just had a breast job or an augmentation and maybe they were sore. I don't know, but it seems unusual. That wasn't mentioned in the trial. Now, this guy wants to become a doctor. This one over here wants to become a heart surgeon. She's let off to become a heart surgeon and pursue her passion and career. Now he can't because of these charges. So I'd love to hear your comments below. Again, this is just me pointing to the cold hard facts and the truth. There's nothing disparaging here. I'm not hurting anybody's feelings. I'm just sharing what you guys are sharing with me. There you have it, folks, the truth of the world that we live in today. Smash the like button, leave me a comment below, let me know what you think. Share this with somebody that might need to see it or get some value out of seeing these two contrasting stories. And if you have anything you'd like me to take a look at, you know where to find me on social. Send me those pieces and I may even do a video on it. Talk to you guys later. Peace.